Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla and today I'm giving y'all an update on my finances for November 2024. Happy December, y'all, and I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving if you celebrate and if you're here in the States. I have lots of numbers and updates to go through, but quickly, I do want to mention that I have an offer going on with coaching for the month of December. So for the month of December only, meaning the call does have to take place in December, I am offering my deep dive finance session. So this is a 2-hour call, and during that session, we'll talk about all of your finances. So this is going to be your debt, any sort of investments you want to talk through. We can make a savings plan. We will make your budget for January, but also we will be making your budget for all of 2025. So an annual budget. And of course, if you have any questions or if you want any sort of guidance with anything, I'm happy to answer those questions. So that will be the call for December, but we will also get a 1.5-hour call scheduled for June 2025. So like a 6-month update to kind of check in on things, see how things are going, if you have any questions, if you need any guidance then. So we will get that booked. You can reschedule later if necessary, but that would be included as well. You also get access to all of my spreadsheets. You can have those for life. And then on top of that, if you decide that you want to continue working with me and do my 12-week program, then I will subtract the cost of this deep dive session from the cost of my 12-week program. So if you are interested, I will have that link down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's talk about November because November was good. So let me start with my goal. I set a goal to make at least $5,000 from my business in November, and I did hit over 5K. So I'll get to that specific number in just a moment. But this is my first 5K month since March of 2024. So I am very excited about that. I do want this to continue, of course. I would like to make way more than $5,000 per month, and I am working on that, strategizing behind all of that, especially going into 2025. But it was really exciting to be able to achieve that in November. And I definitely needed it because I did spend more money in November. So let's go ahead and hop to my spreadsheet so y'all can see the craziness of November. Alrighty, here is my spreadsheet. If you are interested in having this spreadsheet for yourself, that will be linked down below. You can get it for free. I don't even need your email or anything. You will be prompted to make a copy of the spreadsheet. There is this version, which is for people who are self-employed or kind of format things the way that I do, and I'll explain everything as I go. But there's also a couple of other versions, so it's a little bit simplified. I also have a weekly option and then an annual tracker on that template. I also have a number of Google Sheets templates available for purchase on my Etsy shop, and that's always linked down below as well. But you can get this for free. So yes, in case this is the first video that you are watching of mine, I am self-employed. So this top section up here is focused on the business side of things, and then we'll go down here. This is the personal side of my spending. Starting with the business side, gross business revenue, I set the goal of $5,000, but when budgeting, I like to be more conservative. So I said I'm pretty positive I will at least make $4,000 gross, and I did hit over $4,000, and I also hit over 5K, like I said. That was a total of $5,073.30. If you're curious about the breakdown of this, I also film an income report every month, so that video will be up probably next week. Yeah, so barely over 5,000, but I still hit that, and yeah, it's just really exciting and definitely very helpful for all of the expenses that I had in November. Rollover business revenue, I was expecting $800. So this is just money that is left over in my business checking account from October that rolls into November. I expected $800, but it ended up being $1,065.67. And then I did not pull from my business sinking fund at all, so I was working with a little bit over $6,000. And then, of course, I do have several expenses related to my business. So because I am an S Corp, I run payroll for myself, so I am the employee, but also the employer, so I have to pay myself my paychecks. That is $2,000 per month. That is correct. My paychecks are $2,000 total. I do have a solo 401k, and I match my contributions by 4%, so that is $80 per month right now. I have to pay payroll taxes. That is $153. I also take a distribution. I was expecting $1,400 for the month of November. A distribution is just transferring money from my business checking account to my personal checking account, and I can use that to pay for everything. It's just pay on top of my actual paychecks. And I did do a $1,400 distribution. Business expenses, I budgeted $1,000. That was actually $1,129.21. I do break this down, all the business expenses in that income report video I was talking about. Now, I know that when I made my November budget, I was expecting this to be high because I was like, oh, I'll be getting a certification in financial coaching. And so, well, like starting that whole process that you have to pay for it and then you have to study for it and then take the exam. But I realized that the reason that I wanted to do that, the reason I felt like I should do that or had to do that, was because I received a comment that was like saying that, just something negative basically about me being a financial coach and not being qualified to do that. And I kind of got in my head about it, but then I realized like, no, that's actual BS, and I do not need to be certified to be a financial coach. I am very, very confident in who I am as a financial coach and the services that I provide my clients. So I don't feel like I need a certification. And at this point, I have just learned so much by speaking with a coach, by going to FinCon, by listening to podcasts of a financial coach, like business owner. So I just don't feel like it was necessary. That was going to be over $700, and no, it's not a bad investment. Like, I still think no matter what, it would benefit me, but I realized that I was doing it to kind of validate myself and just feel like I was being productive or something, even though it wasn't necessary, you know? So maybe one day I will get that certification. I think it's a pretty cool thing. And I attended a webinar like about information on that certification, and it seemed really cool and legitimate. It is legitimate, and it seemed like there was some good quality info in there, but it's just not for me at the moment. I'm not saying I'll never do it, but for right now, I will not be moving forward with that. The thing that cost the most, I will say this ahead of that income report video, I bought a new phone. So my phone was acting up, and I was like, okay, it was basically unusable. Like, I couldn't even make phone calls. My texts weren't working. So I was like, I'm done with this. It's really annoying, wasting my time. It's very distracting. So I got a new phone, and that was the largest purchase in November. Okay, and then insurance. This is medical insurance and dental. I budgeted $99.28, but that was actually $290.04 because I paid for my premium for the month of November for this year, but I also enrolled in my health insurance plan for all of next year. And I talked about this in my December budget video. Like, I wasn't sure. I felt kind of overwhelmed about it. And I was going to keep the same plan that I had for this year, which is a Blue Cross Blue Shield Anthem Bronze plan. But I decided to switch, and I feel good about it. So I enrolled in a silver plan. And with this, I have a lower deductible. My monthly premium for just medical insurance is going to be $190.76. This is after my tax credit. My tax credit is like $346 or something per month. So I may have to pay that back come 2026 when I file my taxes, but that's fine with me as long as I'm saving in like real time. Like, I'm not having to pay $500 plus per month for my health insurance, at least as of right now. I'm fine with that. Like, I'll pay the money back later. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a whole video on the health insurance plan that I selected for 2025. If y'all are interested in that, like, I can go through all of the details. It would be a pretty quick video. But yeah, my deductible is still pretty high. I think it's like $4,000 something. But if I go to a primary care doctor, it costs $10, and then a specialist would be $50. And I did some calculations, and based on the doctor visits that I have to do, my medication, my blood test, that sort of thing, it would be a savings to go with this instead of stick with the bronze plan. So yeah, I will be paying more monthly, but I feel pretty good about this option, and I'm excited to kind of see how things work out with it. But it is still an Anthem plan, so I shouldn't have any problem with like going to my doctors and getting my medication covered. I'm just gonna really, really make sure that the pharmacy is using the right insurance. Because if y'all remember earlier this year, there was like issue with my insurance and my pharmacy. It was their fault, but I still have that bill lingering around of over like $1,400 or whatever it was, $1,100, because the pharmacy did not properly update my insurance, even though I gave them my new insurance. So that is what I was really concerned about with switching. I was like, I don't want to have to deal with that, but I was like, I will just, now that I know that that's a risk, I will pay extra attention when I tell them I have new insurance. But when I selected that plan, I did have to pay for the first month's premium, which is fine with me because now I don't have to pay that in January. So that is everything on the business side. You can see I was still in the positive, which is good because I had, over 1,000 rollover into this month. Now we'll come down here to the personal side of things. So this is me as the employee of my business. As I said above, I do make $2,000 gross. My distribution was $1,400. I did make some extra income, pretty decent amount, $1,352.13. In that income report video, I also will break down where all of this came from. But I will add here that the bulk of it was from my high yield savings account. So I mentioned this in a recent Transfer Tuesday video, but I got paid out some interest and referrals that they were supposed to pay me months ago, I guess. So really, I didn't use this money for anything with my spending. It just stayed in the savings account, but it did help to build up my emergency fund. And I'll show you my final balance in my emergency fund. Well, y'all would have seen it in recent Transfer Tuesdays and stuff, but we'll get to all of the savings in just a moment. And then I did pull from my sinking funds. That was $755, and I will talk about where I pulled from as I go through my spending. First expense would be taxes. These are actually just the taxes I pay from my paychecks. $350.18 is correct. As of lately, I have not been setting money aside for quarterly estimated tax payments just because my business expenses have been so high. I probably am going to owe taxes next year, honestly, just because I remember last year I did, for 2023 I did. So yeah, I do have money saved up though because of that tax credit I was talking about. I think I'll have to pay some of that back, and then we'll see. I'm not really stressed about it. It is what it is, and at least this year I have the paychecks. I'm like a W-2 employee of my business, so it should, I'm not really sure how it's going to work out. But yeah, we'll find out in a few months. I do contribute 5% to my 401k, so that is $100. I didn't budget anything for my brokerage account, but I did end up investing $105 there. For my emergency fund, I budgeted $50. I actually saved $28.17. However, that extra income that I mentioned up here, a huge chunk of it went to my emergency fund, so that was at least helpful. For my gift sinking fund, I didn't budget anything there. That is correct, didn't add anything. Car/car maintenance sinking fund, I did add $25 because some of that savings went to my car maintenance sinking fund as well, so I was just like, okay, cool, I'll add 25 and that should be good. Car insurance sinking fund, I added $125. Donate, I budgeted $0. That is correct. I still have my foster dog and of course had her for all of November. So she just in general is a donation to me because I'm having to pay for her food. I mean, I don't absolutely have to pay for her food and stuff, but I do. So I do count that basically as a donation, and I count those expenses under dogs. So we'll get to that. House/utilities budget was $1,107.50. That is correct. I just rounded it up though. $1,108 is what I paid total. For household expenses, these are things like cleaning supplies, toilet paper. I budgeted $50. That ended up being $49.44. I broke down what I purchased here. So I bought some laundry detergent, and then I bought filters for our shower head. So maybe back in February or so, I bought a shower head with a filter on it. I actually really love it. Like, it makes the water it has more pressure in it, and it just does feel nicer. So I got the filters to replace. I actually still haven't replaced that, so need to do it. Groceries, I budgeted $400. Somehow I was pretty under budget here, so I spent $325.91, under budget by $74.09. I think really I just kind of stuck to simple foods, and then I knew with Thanksgiving week it didn't cost me as much. Plus I bought less for like my typical groceries because I knew I would have leftovers. So after Thanksgiving, I literally, for like the 3 days after, I literally just ate leftovers and junk food, So yeah, I don't know exactly what happened here, but I am happy about it. Food out, I budgeted $25. Unfortunately, I went over. I really thought I wouldn't go over here. I mean, it's not by much. I spent $32.08. I did get myself 2 donuts. So when I filmed at the Beltline, I was like interviewing strangers, asking them about their finances. That video is coming this weekend. I was like, I'm gonna treat myself, so I am getting donuts. So I got 2 vegan donuts at Pond City Market, and then I did get Chipotle once, and then I did go to the Whole Foods Hot Bar. Altogether, I said it already, $32.08, but over budget by $7.08. So not too bad. Gas for my car, I budgeted $50, ended up spending $63.76. Yeah, I should have known that this would go. I mean, I only got gas twice, but the second time that I went, my tank was pretty empty. So over budget a bit here, but it's not something I can really always control. So that just is what it is. Health and beauty, I budgeted $250. This number's high. I spent $423.58. I think going forward, like I know I need to prepare better for Black Friday. So what ends up happening is I don't necessarily need the things that I'm purchasing, but I am going to need those things. Some of them I did need, but also I decided to buy more of them because of Black Friday, because they're on sale, or just November in general, things are on sale. So even things like these Breathe Right strips, I wear the nose strips when I sleep at night because it really has changed my sleeping life. And I bought 2 boxes of that this month because they were like way cheaper than what I typically buy them for. So now I should be good until like maybe February, I don't know, or late January. Same with the face cleanser and moisturizer. I think I spent over $80 or so because I got multiple of each, because now I'll be good for a whole year. Like I won't have to buy it again. I did buy CBD balm. That was on sale and mine is about to run out. So that was pretty expensive. I bought 2 of those plus, actually the CBD came free with it, but yeah, that was like $90 for that purchase because it was on sale. Vitamins were on sale, but I also needed them. I did get my massage. We needed to buy I need to get some floss for the house. The Ladders app, that's a subscription that I pay for my workout program. I do want to switch to the annual plan. They didn't have a Black Friday sale though, so that was kind of upsetting. I'll probably switch to that in January, the annual plan. And then, yeah, I got some hair clips and heatless rollers. So it's all kind of random, but I realized that I need to prep better for November each year and just expect for things to be higher. So yeah, over budget by $173.58. For the dogs, I budgeted $215. I don't know what I was thinking with this, why I thought it would be lower. I guess I thought I didn't have to buy my foster dog food, but I did. So altogether, $289.82. This does include my foster dog and then also the 2 dogs that my sister and I adopted together, but they live with her. So I sent her $180 per month for them. Netflix is $23.48. My gym membership is $39.99. Personal spending, I budgeted $400. I remember when I was filming this, I was like, because $400 was high already. So I was like, I have a plan. I'm going to buy this, this, this. And I had it like listed out. But then things came around and I was like, I want that. And I want that. And I want that. I do feel bad about these numbers, and I know like y'all are so reassuring, and I honestly really appreciate it. Like y'all make me feel better about these mishaps in my budget. Let me show you the number. So I did spend $847.26, and you can see the breakdown. I did buy 9 books, which I did not need to buy, but I didn't need to buy any of these. Obviously, that's the personal spending. You typically don't need to. I did buy quite a few workout clothes, so that's Alpha Elite and Honor Active. I work out a lot. I like to look good when I go to the gym, so I don't regret any of these purchases. I did buy a few things from Hollister, including this little cardigan that I'm wearing, and I did buy a few things from Skims because I really like the tops from Skims. Like I'm actually wearing that too. This isn't new, but if I'm wearing clothes, because sometimes people ask me, it's either Hollister or Skims. Obviously well over budget there, $447, and yeah, I mean, I received a comment recently too that I wanted to bring it up here but she was saying, at least I think it was a woman, she was saying that because I am responsible with my finances and I've like built up these habits around finances and I'm at where I'm at, mishaps like this don't fully disrupt everything. And she was basically saying like, I would want you to talk about that, like why it's okay to go over budget. First of all, nobody's ever perfect. I'm never perfect. When it comes to me though, because I'm so public with my numbers and because I'm a financial coach, like I'm supposed to be somebody who is a positive, like a good example when it comes to spending. Like I literally go over budget in one category or another every single month, and that just is kind of what happens. But to go over so much, it makes me feel really guilty because I don't ever want to be a bad example. And I know that y'all will comment like, oh, you're not a bad example. You never will be. Like, and I understand why y'all think that way, but it's also like how I feel about it makes me feel bad in that sense. Like I don't want to be a bad example. I do not feel guilty about my purchases. Also, when I work with clients, like if they go over budget on things, I'm never about shame. Like I will never shame people about spending their money, you know? Obviously, I want you to make better decisions around finances and things like that, but I'll never like yell or like get mad at somebody for anything like that, because yeah, sometimes things just happen. And I think that is important that she commented that, because it is true. Like because I've built these habits around my finances, and for the most part I'm not spending my money on myself, like I'm not just buying unnecessary things all the time, then I'm able to do this and still keep everything in check and also still like reach my goals on a regular basis. Ironically, I was also reading The Psychology of Money this morning, and that's our book club book for December. If you're not in my book club, then you can get on that. It's linked down below. I took a note on it. Okay. The part that I was reading today, he said, the trick when dealing with failure is arranging your financial life in a way that a bad investment here and a missed financial goal there won't wipe you out, so you can keep playing until the odds fall in your favor. And so that's kind of relevant here because, yeah, just because I went way over budget, it's not going to wipe me out for everything else. Like, I'm not going into debt. I'm not, like, I didn't use my savings for this, you know? I've built up this foundation around my finances where this won't disrupt everything. Also, this is the beauty of annual budgeting, because if you look at what I budgeted for the whole year for personal spending, I think initially I was like, okay, I'll do $3,000 total for the year. And as of now, with November in there, I've spent like $2,500 on personal spending. So I'm still on budget if you look at the full year. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm talking too much about this, but hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully nobody is mad at me for going over budget. I'm not mad at myself. I am very happy with all of my purchases. I know that this isn't something that happens very often. Even like going into December, January, things are going to look much lower. So that's that. Next up is my car insurance. So I budgeted $750. I wasn't sure what this would be exactly. Progressive waits until like a couple weeks before it renews until they tell you the amount, or like a few weeks before. So that ended up being $755. And I do save for that every single month. As y'all know, I put $125 monthly to the sinking fund. So that's where the $755 that I pulled from my sinking funds came from. I actually had a little bit more in there, like seven something, which is good because it's just left over in there. I'm leaving it there so I can use it for the next time. So that's everything for November. You can see all together I spent $4,691, and I am in the positive. So yeah, because of I had a good month in November income wise, I took a pretty big distribution, had the really the savings was what made this positive here. That's why I didn't end up like putting more to my emergency fund or anything like that, because this extra income is kind of misleading because the bulk of it just went to my savings and I didn't account for that in my actual spending. Now let's look at my savings, my investments, and my net worth. Exciting things here. We're going to go through my savings first. Everything is in Marcus by Goldman Sachs. That's my high yield savings account. And yes, these are all separate funds. You can have multiple funds in Marcus. I'm asked that like every single video. And I recorded these numbers on the last day of the month after the interest came through. So for taxes, I did not add anything to this, but that referral promotion bonus that I was supposed to get a few months ago did come through a little bit here. So that's at $43.65. My emergency fund grew the most. That is at $13,463.56 as of the end of November. Gift sinking fund, I didn't pull from that, but didn't add to that either, $1,139.18. Travel sinking fund is at $6,241.66. Car/car maintenance, that's at $3,521.30. My car insurance fund, I did pull from that, so that's at $19.66. My insurance savings is at $2,538.28. So this is that tax credit that I was talking about. I have quite a bit saved up for that in case I do need to pay back the tax credit, or even taxes if I owe taxes in general. Business sinking fund is at $1,922.96. Altogether, I have $28,890.25. A little bit of a gain compared to last month, and I really want to hit over $30,000 total in all of my savings by the end of the year. So I have quite a bit of work to do. The bulk of it I would want to go to my emergency fund, but yeah, we'll see. Then we have all of my investments, starting with my Roth IRA. That did increase by 6.6%. That's now at $40,568.85. I was very surprised to see that. I know it's because like after the election, everything went up. So yeah, this could change at any moment. Obviously, we will see what happens, but it was nice to see this higher than it's ever been. Same with my 401k. That is up 4.3% at $40,614.90. My SEP IRA is also up 5.9% at $456.53. My brokerage is also up 7.8% at $10,974.07. Coinbase is still at 0. I'll get rid of that next year. It won't even be on here. So altogether, this is crazy. I didn't expect this. So my investments are up 5.7%, a total of $92,614. Yeah, that's a pretty decent jump. And I don't know what to expect for the rest of the year, but I'm happy to see it. So we'll go down to my net worth here in the yellow section. I will say that down in my net worth, I don't count how much I have in my tax savings. Otherwise, every number that you saw up here will be down there. I do not count the value of my car or any of my belongings. That's just personal preference. And then I do add in the amounts in my checking account. So that's what this number is here. That's my business checking account, my personal checking account. And then if there's any balances left on my credit cards, I subtract that from here. So I do pay off my credit cards every single month, but it may not fall perfectly by the end of the month, you know? So I don't pay any interest on my credit cards, but sometimes it rolls from the last month into the current month and I just pay it before the statement, if that makes sense. So I subtract that from my checking balance. So anyways, you can see that my net worth is $122,545.65. Yeah, that's awesome. A pretty big jump compared, I have the number here, jump of $5,286. I never really know what to expect with my net worth, so that was super exciting to see, and I just was kind of shocked by that, to see that big of a jump in 1 month, and really the bulk of it was because of the stock market, and then that extra bonus that I got in Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Very, very exciting. The goal for the year is 125K, which we'll talk about in just a minute. I have a goal tracker for that, so I think that will be possible, just depending on the market. And then only other thing to show here would be my Vantage score, my credit score. That dropped a little bit to 801. A couple of things happened, so I did open 2 cards back in September. That's what updated. Like my cards came through. I also, a couple of my cards got closed, like my oldest cards recently, and I think because of that, that went through and also hit my score, but still in the 800s, so that's good. I know it only goes, it goes up after those hits, so by the next couple of months, I expect it to be back where it was before. All right, bear with me. Final sheet to go through is my goal tracker. If you're interested in this spreadsheet, it is available for purchase on my Etsy shop. First goal is to max out my 401k. I do have it crossed out because I know that's not possible since I quit my job, but I am still adding to that. So for November, I added 100, and that doesn't include the match that I have through my business, but altogether $8,904.35 for the year. As I was just saying, I would like to reach a net worth of $125,000 or more. I had a jump of that $5,286.66 in November, so we're pretty close, $2,454 away from hitting that. I would like to make $100,000 or more in gross income. Now, so for November, I made $6,425.43 if we count my business income and my extra income. So I am $15,008.31 away from hitting this goal. Will I hit it? Probably not, but that's okay. I mean, it's not too bad. Of course, going into 2024, I was thinking that I would have my job for the whole year, but I quit sooner than I expected. So yeah, it's not a problem to me. I would love to hit that 100K mark for this year, but 15,000 is a pretty big stretch for December unless something crazy happens. So, but still pacing good overall. Next goal is to make $50,000 or more in business income. In November, it was pretty high, $5,073.30. So far this year, $46,883, and I'm a little bit more than $3,000 away from hitting this. So pretty positive that I will hit this for sure. My emergency fund, I would like to reach $15,000. In November, it increased by $985.20. So I ended at about $13,463, and I am $1,536 away from reaching that goal. And then final goal, I would like to spend less than $50,000. I spent a total of $3,958.32 in November. This does exclude my savings, my investments, my taxes, business expenses, that sort of thing. So tracking well there, and remaining is $9,500, and I definitely won't spend $9,500 in December. So I will hit that goal too. That's a wrap on November. I'm very excited for the month of December and just all the things with 2025. So I hope y'all also had an amazing month. Feel free to comment down below anything that you accomplished. I would love to hear it. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.